is back, causing mass discussion. Can't you see them dad boys are casting? Testing competition on their podcast mission. Never know what you get, it's chaotic precision. If you don't know, you better find out the dad pack. I'm here to prove a point, we three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder, subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. The dads are home. We are the DWO podcast, representing the dad world order. Where the jokes are bad, the advice is questionable, but the love is all real. I am the pretty face papaw, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. We got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Honk if you hear me.
Yeah. And he is the perpetual mid-carter and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas.
Day 1364, and we're rocking a first time ever on the count, an Atticus Cogar shirt.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I called him Atticus Cougar for like ever because I just misread his name for years. And then I heard somebody say it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense now that I actually read it.
It's related to Mellencamp.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Hilgar. Well, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the DWO podcast, and tonight we have with us a very special guest. He is the voice, the play-by-play of ArmBar Pro Wrestling, Mr. Jarrod Rowe. Sir, how the heck are you?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I got to tell you, we're starting off great right from the rip. You don't miss with that song, the melody from the Wolfpack tunes. Like, I dare anyone to listen to that and not like bob your head, because I'm sitting there like, hell yeah. Good stuff.
It's so
you guys
good.
Did not miss with the song, so well done. We're starting off really well.
We're
Appreciate
very
you guys
happy
having me.
with
Thank
that
you.
song. So also, we were having a conversation before we went live. I want to continue that. We were talking about football, essentially, and specifically about the Philadelphia Eagles and how I was never really – I've always been a Bengals fan my whole life, so I've never been an Eagles fan, per se, but they've always had players that I really liked. Like, I loved Donovan McNabb as a quarterback. He was one of my favorites. He was in Chunky Soup commercials. He was a great quarterback. Freaking loved him. And also one of my favorite defensive players ever. Weapon X, Brian freaking Dawkins, dude.
He's number one on my list for Eagles all time.
Yeah,
for sure.
like he is. I was a defensive player pretty much my whole football career, and just the mentality that he had, I fucking love Brian Dawkins so much. And I love watching documentaries where people talk about him and like the story, and they're just like, yeah, before games he was a different person. Like he wasn't even human anymore. His mind went.
The Spikes story where he talks to Takeo Spikes and he's like, Spikes, I'm gonna take his soul.
Yeah.
And Spikes was like, what?
What?
You gonna do what? Here's this dude, Takeo Spikes, who looks like an Urukai, and he's like, that's awfully violent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian Dawkins, like it started for me in 1992 with Reggie White, and then like 10 minutes later he left and went to Green Bay. Yeah. And then it was like a few years there where it was kind of like, wow, I hitched my wagon to a sinking ship right here. This is not good. And then in 96 they drafted Dawkins, and then I was like, we have one.
Yeah.
Thank God we have one.
Yeah.
It as I got older, it's like I'm an Ohio State fan and an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan longer. Probably a little more Ohio State centric just because of where I live. But man, with the Eagles, like it's everything you hear about the fan base is true. Everything you hear about the city is true. It's like when you see the players get up on the steps of the art museum and like, nobody likes us, we don't care. It's like, that's about it.
That's about right. Yeah.
You got 2 Super Bowls to show for it. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, after you won the Super Bowl, the city burned down in a good way, apparently. It's
Philly
crazy.
was home of WrestleMania 40, man. It holds a special place to me.
Man, that was an all-time weekend of wrestling.
It was fantastic. I drove there by myself. That was the weekend I ended up at a fucking private party with Ric Flair. I met Kurt Angle. everybody. It was just like a fantastic weekend. I slept in my car all weekend, but it was still great. It was like one of the I loved it, man. I honestly would probably go back again if they didn't have it in Vegas for $72,000 a seat. You know, I'm not playing that game.
It's pretty wild. That's actually one of the things with ArmBar Pro that we've really been trying to push is like the value for a family. I mean, the big wrestling companies, like they are making it clear they don't think you're paying enough for their tickets, and they double down on that information on press conferences and shareholder meetings. They say it all the time. You know, for the WWE when Vince McMahon owned it, he was too focused on families, not focused enough on the the experience and bringing out the celebrities and maximizing ticket value. So we can't stress enough, and I would say for us and for any independent wrestling promotion, the value right now for a family that enjoys wrestling is to find your local independent promotion and patronize them as much as you can.
Yep.
Yeah, we
For
used
real.
to have one that was literally like 5 minutes from my house, and they had one every Friday, and I loved that so much. And it went belly up, which sucks, but
It was so good.
yeah, the way they had it, it was like their fans knew they had a full-fledged months and months of stories going on there, like Alpha Sig, which I'm sure you're very hip to. Alpha Sig basically really started honing their skills there. They wrestled in a lot of different places, but they were there every Friday wrestling everyone, you know what I mean? So they really got to hone a lot of their skills there, and to see them, evolve into what they are now is
The veteran Jack Vaughn.
yeah, Jack Vaughn
Yep.
was there. Yep. Which
Man,
a lot
I get a serious kick out of Jack Vaughn. He's great, and
He's
and
the
for
best.
for as eccentric as he is outside the ring with the videos and stuff, man, his work inside the ring is so awesome. He's so much fun to watch, and he's another guy. He travels and he wrestles everybody, and it's great.
Yeah.
He certainly does.
And also a genuinely wonderful human being. We have had many wonderful interactions with him, and he has always been great to us. So shout out Jack
We're
Vaughn.
trying to bring him up to ArmBar for a special event sometime in the future for sure.
That'd be awesome.
I've been ringing the bell over that for a while. I have this like long list of people. I just if money was no object, and I know that they would be available. Who is it? And it grows
Right.
by the day,
But there's
Jack Vaughn would be near the top of it for sure.
there's so much great talent in the indie pool and just like the greater Cincinnati-ish area between like here, Indianapolis, Dayton, down in Kentucky, Lexington, Louisville. I mean, it is hopping right now. So I mean, like you said, man, for while the big guys are pricing you out, there's a lot of good wrestling going on in your neighborhoods.
For sure, it's not hard to find. I mean, and between Cincinnati, Dayton, we're running primarily out in the Springfield area, but we run in Dayton area too. There's some Columbus promotions that I've seen popped up, so it's out there. And I just, I don't. The thing that I worry about, I guess, when it comes to wrestling, and I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I've been watching this stuff for longer than most of your viewers have probably been alive. So the thing for me that I worry about is people will see the momentum that the largest wrestling company in the world is gaining, and how much further and further out the bar gets the boundary gets placed for what you have to be able to afford to go to their show, and people will give up on wrestling without realizing that all around you it's happening everywhere. So that's my concern. Everyone knows that WWE is the biggest wrestling company in the world, but they're not the only wrestling company in the world. And there are wrestling companies that will put the entertainment quality and the value for the family ahead of the bottom line 10 out of 10 times. With every indie fed I've ever been involved with or been to, there's always ticket giveaways. They're trying to find every single way to get people in the door just to get some recognition and to let people know that they exist.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, you're not wrong, dude. There's so many diamonds around here, like Cal Hero, Aaron Williams. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that are just like
Lord Crew.
Yeah, Lord Crew, for example. Yes, Chris. There's so many crispy, great independent wrestlers in this area that are bookable for great matches, man. And people, like I spoke with a friend of mine who's trying to, maybe start his own wrestling company, and he's talking about how he wanted to have his wrestlers do pre-sales. And I was just like, I think that's a terrible idea, man. It's like, what you need to do is you need to book somebody who draws. You need to book somebody who Like, for example, if I see Aaron Williams on a flyer, I am immediately interested. If I see
Absolutely.
Dalton McKenzie on a flyer, I'm immediately interested. There are certain people in this area who have a draw.
Mhm.
And I think that's more important than having, you know, Rhino on. No offense to Rhino. Rhino's a great person to book as an ancillary character, but I don't know. Like Wrestling Revolver books Rhino right. They just book him as an attraction. Some people book him as the only thing that's important. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I hate that kind of stuff.
I think for a booker in general, at least the way that I approach the creative aspect is, I feel like if I have enough time to analyze a match, I can come up with a thread to weave between two wrestlers to add some stakes, and really it's all about giving the fans and the audience a reason to come back. They want to, you want to leave them wanting more, and you want them to have to know what happens next. I mean, that really
Yep.
is the key. You know, people love wrestling and they'll come watch wrestling, and we're really, really lucky at ArmBar Pro to have the roster that we have, because Dayton had an independent running for a long time. That's where I cut my teeth as an announcer. And shout out Mark Turner for getting me started. Mark Turner's the man. But you know, COVID wreaked havoc on independent wrestling, and you know, there's been kind of a vacuum for wrestling in Dayton. I mean, we have Revolver that comes to town, but as far as a home-based promotion, there's been a bit of a vacuum for the Dayton and Springfield area, and we're trying to wedge ourselves right into that vacuum and fill that void. And what's great about it is we have a collection of veteran guys who have been around and were around during those days when Dayton had that vibrant indie scene. But we've been really fortunate that up behind those guys, we have just had, I mean, I don't know if you call it luck or what, but we have just been really fortunate to find a collection of guys who are fantastic and just haven't been seen up here. They just haven't had a shot like north of like Middletown to apply their craft. And
Yeah.
they come up here, and it's not like, hey, got to go out and do the job, whatever. It's like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Like, what kind of cool stuff can we do while you're out there? Da, da, da. Like, that's kind of my specialty and my forte is the creative aspect. But we've just gotten really lucky in finding probably like a dozen guys that just and girls who just haven't broken in the Dayton, Springfield, Columbus area, with the exception of like a Damian Chambers, who's from Columbus. Don't tell him he's not over in Columbus. He will be pissed.
He's over everywhere.
He is over everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he
Don't
goes.
let it be said that I said anything else.
I don't know. He might be listening. He was already telling us we needed to check you because he said you weren't quite Team Chambers, you know. And we are absolute Chambers guys. He's been on what 3 times? 3 times he's been on the show.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with
He even
Damian
sent
Chambers,
he did a nice thing for Cephas on his 1000th day. He sent him a video congratulating him.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I have the utmost respect for Damian Chambers. I would be a Damian Chambers guy. I mean, I watch him and he is incredibly talented. But the thing about Damian Chambers is I think he's got a bit of a rivalry going, not necessarily with me, but with all things. It's over here. This ArmBar Pro Wrestling, and I guess in a lot of ways I'm kind of the embodiment of ArmBar Pro Wrestling, being the play-by-play and you know the connection with the action in the ring and the fans. So I don't sign his paychecks, I don't fine him, and I don't suspend him. I just call his matches, and when I'm asked to, I get in the ring and interview him. And the last time that happened, he wasn't very polite, but he wasn't very polite to anybody in the building that night. So I didn't take it personally, and his continued disdain with me, I also don't take personally. I think Damian Chambers is a hell of a talented guy. The thing about Damian Chambers, and if I have a critique, it's just this: he carries a chip on his shoulder that has served him incredibly well throughout his career, but it is seriously the size of Mount Everest. And I'm curious, what is the version of Damian Chambers that removes that chip from his shoulders and he gets ultra focused just on competing look like? What does that guy look like? That's all I want to know. Because like when Damian competes at Armbar, it's the sight to behold. He's unbelievable. But anybody that watches the footage can see that the endings of some of his matches when he has won had a shenanigan here or there, and including this past Saturday. So that's all I'm wondering is what is the Damian Chambers with no chip on his shoulder who's just focused on what's happening between the ropes? Like, how dangerous would that guy be? That's what I kind of wonder. But it's still fun to go out there and see him do his thing, though. No question.
He needs that cunning. He needs that. I don't know. Like I feel like in for lack of a better example. I feel like he just needs to, like, because look at the Miz when the Miz is nice and focuses on the matches.
It's true. For some dudes, it doesn't work.
I don't want that. I want Miz to be a piece of shit.
What is he? Is it this that he does? The point? I love the point
Yeah.
that he does when he walks out. But no, Damian Chambers, his feud right now is with anything ArmBar Pro related. And that includes me. That includes the rest of our announcing staff. That includes the opponents he faces in the ring, our ownership, our referees especially. He's beaten up a couple of them. So, but hey, I sit behind my desk and I just call the action the way that I see it.
So where is ArmBar base? Where is your main, like, do you have a for lack of a better term, a Hammerstein ballroom? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Right now we're running mainly at a venue called Metropolis in Springfield. It's this unbelievably cool venue. It's a multi-purpose event center. Really, they have a lot of weddings there and banquets and that kind of thing. What's that?
The old nightclub over by
No.
It used to be a church. It used to be a church, I think.
Okay, I was going to say I met Dave Attell at that nightclub.
No, not a nightclub. Way too big to be a nightclub, but well, maybe not. I guess there's some big nightclubs out there. Not that I'm familiar or anything.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Yeah, but it's a huge, really beautiful building. It's got really high ceilings, and it just, you have to be there to experience it. Like, it just looks so cool with a wrestling ring and our setup and our stage and everything. It's pretty wild, and it's big enough to where we can get a nice sized crowd. It's got a big balcony, but also everyone can get in close to the ring. It feels pretty intimate. It's a really, really great place to have a wrestling show. Energy's always through the roof. It's really great.
How many shows have you ran so far?
Let's see. We slow rolled. Like, we kind of think purposefully, without really intending to, we slow rolled out of the gates. Like, we had a show, and then really from that show, it was kind of like we checked boxes to see what worked and what didn't work. And then it was probably like 3 months before we had our next show. And then it was kind of the same deal. We just kind of kept like trying things, and really, like we had talked about off the air, I think earlier on, the live experience is such a big deal for our company, because it's like, when you're an independent wrestling company and you don't have $1 billion budget, you have to take what you do really well and shine as bright a spotlight on as you can, and try to take maybe the things that you're not quite as strong at and not make them quite as obvious, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so we were trying early on to have good wrestling shows, but at the same time, trying out different things with the setup, trying out different things with the entrance. Okay, let's try a ramp at the next show, until we finally really dialed it in. And I think this past year, starting in March, is when it was our first show at Metropolis. And that was when we really saw like kind of the potential of what we had, when we had the full setup, and our production team had added a bunch of new pieces. And so it's been kind of amazing to experience that, because we show up somewhere and we have the show. And at the end of the show, I feel like someone always says, oh, well, we should try a big ramp next time. And then it's just like, we show up at the show the following month or the next month following that, and then we have like a full ramp from the curtain to the ring. It's like, whoa, okay, cool.
Cool.
That's awesome. And then like in June at our show, we had a show called Who's Your Daddy, which was a play on Father's Day. It was really fun to say that live on commentary a bunch of times too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was great. But at that show, I remember talking to one of the production managers, and I was like, man, you know what we need next? We need monitors. We need like big screen TV, so we can like run entrance videos, and like if we do promos and stuff, we have someplace to show them. And I shit you not, we show up for the show in August, and there's these two 70-inch TVs just chilling up there. And I was like, this is great. And we're like, next time, our next show, I need to find a giant envelope full of money under my chair.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's been amazing to see that development. So
we need our own version of the Nitro Girls.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I mean, when Who's Your Daddy Year 2 comes through, if you need some dad-tro girls, you know what I'm saying? I'm
saying you guys should come and do a live podcast.
That would be
the show.
That would be
how killer would that be? Yeah, that'd be awesome. You guys
get ourselves out. I'm trying to get myself out to what you guys got going here, man. You got the Monster Bash October 25th coming up, man. And that, first off, your graphics look fucking great.
Well, I'm telling you, man, we have such a first-rate production team, and we have a group of people that love doing it and take it so seriously, that are good at what they do, and love wrestling.
I think
it's
that's
such an
why we
awesome
like
combination.
assume you guys have been around so much longer, though, is like because your stuff doesn't look like somebody who's just getting started. I mean, it's a very polished and professional look to all your guys' promo material and whatnot. I mean, it's just top notch, man.
Very appreciated. A lot of thought and consideration went into all of that. And like I said, our early shows, probably our first 8 shows, it was more of a, let's get some good wrestlers together, get everybody in the building, put together a good card, everybody go have some matches, have a good show. And we were doing that because the focus really was on building an impressive presentation. And so now that we feel like that's where we are with that, now the focus that we feel we're pretty automatic with the way our show looks and the way we present it. Now we want to start developing more in terms of like give our audience a deeper look at the characters, let them see that there are some stakes to the matches. And now we're going to roll information from one show into the next show, and we have a lot of really cool and really interesting ideas on the horizon to do a lot of what I believe are very unique things. And
Yeah.
I honestly wish I could sit here all night and tell you all of them, but I can't. I've been sworn to secrecy on so many of them.
Well, that's important.
Well, that's what we love when we go to independent shows. Like we've been in the past couple of years since starting this podcast, we've seen a lot more than we ever saw as fans, right? But at the end of the day, we're still like, I mean, we went to a show once and we were like backstage before the show, and I ended up seeing the run sheet of like, the match card, who was like winners were circled and stuff. And I just glanced at, I saw it, I glanced at it, and I was just like,
no.
Doesn't that bum you out?
it did.
Yeah.
It bummed me the fuck out. I'm like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm still a fan. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not
Spoilers are
backstage.
the worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it made me sad because
I want to be surprised.
in my head, I've seen enough wrestling. I'm smart enough that I'm like, I think I know what's going to happen in most of these. But there's always that suspended disbelief where I believe my guy can win, or whatever. So yeah, I don't ever want to see, like, I used to follow Fightful Select like constantly because I always liked all these little news stories. And after a while, I got so tired of it because it would be like, and they were good about being like, hey, this is a spoiler, don't read it. But they would, hey, so-and-so is about to debut on WWE or AEW or whatever. And after a while, I was just like, I don't want to know any of this shit anymore. I just want to watch the show and just be a 10-year-old kid again, Well, and I've enjoyed it so much more since doing that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, when I started announcing, I used to hate it because I used to live by this quote that I heard from Jim Ross, where his thing was like he never wanted to know what was happening. He always wanted to be surprised because he wanted his reaction to be more genuine.
Right.
And I remember he was talking about it on one of his podcasts, and he was like, it worked out well for me. He's like, I got to skip production meetings if I didn't want to go because I didn't want to know who was over, who wasn't, that sort of thing. And then he said, I didn't have to worry about the King because the King didn't do any preparation anyway. So, but I'll say from my perspective, having been on both sides of it, where now I'm announcing, but I'm also doing some producing backstage. Yeah, from the standpoint of being a fan, it is lame knowing what's going to happen to some degree, but also from a production side, like having put the work and the thought and worked one-on-one
seeing your
with
vision
the talent,
unfold. Yeah.
Exactly. Seeing it kind of come to life and like, man, that is quite a rush. That is quite a rush because we've been doing a lot more of that lately, and that's really cool. I've really enjoyed from that perspective. But yeah, from the standpoint of just like being a fan and wanting to be able to suspend your disbelief, it is, yeah, you miss out. Once that fourth wall gets broken, you can't put it back together.
Yeah.
The only fourth wall we want broken is like, for example, I don't remember exactly what show it was, but there was a show where we traveled, I think it was to Iowa, and we ended up taking turns refereeing a fucking hand volleyball match between the Alpha Sig boys, and I think it was Jake Christ and Alex Cologne. And it was just like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing right now. We're playing volleyball. You know what I mean? Whatever.
It was a pretty cool little behind the scenes thing. It was just like, this is neat.
That's
neat,
awesome. You know what I mean?
You guys can come play ping pong at our shows, or whatever.
I'm 100% down. I want to get up to a show real bad.
Yeah.
And that actually might be the one on the 25th might be a possibility because I will be I was actually just talking to Danny, and I believe she's going to Nashville that weekend. So I will be home with both the girls. So that might be a fun little trip.
Just about to say, I know my son will want to go. My son is at the point right now where he is eating, breathing, and shitting wrestling. So that's all
It's painful.
he's all about it. He's eating.
How do the thumbtacks feel when they come out? Since he's shitting wrestling and thumbtacks are a part of it, I can't imagine that's enjoyable. Or the light tubes? The light tubes can't be good.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite gotten into the death match yet. But,
Thank God.
That's good. That's good. I try to steer my kids away from all that kind of stuff. I did have a pretty cool wrestling dad moment not too long ago, where my youngest son is like, he's hot and cold with it. Some days he'll come in and he'll want to ask me, like, Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time, so he'll come in and ask me, Dad, was Bret Hart the best wrestler of all time? And I'm like, yes, because you just asked me this a month ago. Yes, he is. He still is. And then it's like, well, why? And then he just wants me to talk. That's all he wants to do is hear me talk and get me going on wrestling. And it's just like, I don't shut up. So the other day he was like, Dad, are there any matches that are just too crazy? And I was like, there's one. I was like, have you ever heard of a guy named Mankind? And he's like, no. And I was like, let me talk to you about a little thing called King of the Ring 98. And we proceeded. There you go. We proceeded.
That
to
was
watch,
the match that made me a fan of wrestling. So
we watched Hell in a Cell. We watched Hell in a Cell, and he was so blown away. He was like, "They're gonna let him go back. They're letting him get back in the ring." And then he goes through the cage.
That's how I felt.
He goes through the cage. He's like, "What happened to his shoes? He had shoes on, Dad. Where are his shoes?" And that was like when Terry Funk got choke slammed and everything.
Yeah.
And it was so wild. And
is that a tooth coming out of his nose?
To see his face just like explode, and then like when Mick Foley got slammed into the tax, it was like almost too much for him. It was like sensory overload.
Yeah,
and he flipped out.
How old is he?
He just turned. Well, he didn't just turn 8. He's 8. He turned 8 in May.
Okay, so our boys are very similar. Mine is 7, and he's just started. He's playing the video game a lot too, and he's just like. He's so fucking. I've told people multiple times, he made me enjoy Jey Uso's world title reign because I saw it through his eyes. You know what I mean?
Man.
If I would have been just a critical wrestling fan, I probably would have naysayed a bunch of it. But watching it through him made it so great.
I had the same experience, dude, because my kid was in the living room doing the thing and all that stuff. And Penta is my favorite luchador of all time. When I saw him wrestle Kenny Omega at All In, I was just hooked. And when Penta made his debut in the WWE, my kid just happened to be sitting in the living room watching with me, and he kept calling him the Nightmare Man. And so I have this video of him just chanting Nightmare Man, Nightmare Man. And like, I don't have the heart to be like, hey, Junior, like, that's not his name, because like that's the cynical wrestling fan thing to do. But he was having so much fun with it. So now Penta in our house is the Nightmare Man.
Hey, that's cool though.
Maybe that'll be like a cool story I could tell him one day if I learn to speak Spanish.
That dude, that was Penta. Actually, the reason I got into AEW, the first match I ever saw was a tag team match, and it was Penta in his Joker gear, tagging with Eddie Kingston versus the heel Young Bucks. I'm talking 2021 prime heel Young Bucks.
That was a good run.
And that match, I mean, there was shoving thumbtacks in their mouth and super kick. I mean, it was insane. And I was just like, it's what got me back into wrestling, essentially.
I'm the quintessential FTR guy. So just by proxy, I despise the Young Bucks.
I love, dude, FTR. You'll hear it when we sign off. I say top dad's out because of top guys. Big Rig was their finishing move in AEW before they got Shatter Machine back. I love FTR. They are my favorite tag team. Like
I've got them tattooed on my like ribs and side area as Simpsons characters.
Nice.
Homer and Ned Flanders. Yeah. I can't remember. 74 Land was the guy that put that design out, and I asked him.
That's our boy.
That's the homie.
I said, "Hey, is it cool if I get that tattooed on me?" He's like, "Yeah, that's awesome." So I went and got it tattooed on me. God, it hurt so bad. That's so sick.
And then he did us Dad, and Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
He does.
His crossovers are insane, man. And it's like not everybody knows who FTR is, but like any wrestling fan that sees that tattoo knows exactly who it is. I got them wearing the ROH Tag Team Championships, which meant so much to me because Ring of Honor has just forever been like,
dude, that
my
trio
love.
with the fucking Briscoe brothers is it's probably my favorite trio of tag matches ever in the history of the world.
Untouchable. That first match they had at Supercard, oh my god. That was tag team wrestling just embodied.
At its finest.
Oh man, perfect.
But 74 Lands, what a guy. I got that commission done, and then I also was like, hey, I want to get some stuff from your store. He's like, yeah, just go on the store, put it in there, put your name in there, and I'll get it sent to you, because he's actually in the UK. He's not even in the United States.
Yeah.
And dude sent me, like, I got a t-shirt. I got the Homer. I don't know how big of a Simpsons fan you are, but when he went to the baseball game and he got the Nacho hat.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I know.
So it's Homer Simpson as Macho Man Randy Savage, but it says Nacho Man.
Yeah.
And so I got that shirt. I'm like, that shirt's amazing. I need that. And then I also got. He did the entire like AEW roster as Simpsons characters. So the FTR, I saw that one. It's like that whole print. I have that whole print.
What dedication to be able to do all that, man.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That dude's a mad scientist. That's so cool.
But he was the best because, like, I just got those two things, and then he sent me like 10 extra stickers, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, just, I don't know, super cool guy. I also got Homer as Stone Cold Steve Austin as a fridge magnet, just going like this.
Dude, he tried, after I got the tattoo done, I sent him the picture, and then, like, I've never been on Twitter before. And he was trying to, like, get Dax and Cash a hold of me, but those guys are busy and they have lives and they're all that stuff. He's like, dude, you just got to get on Twitter. He's like, then you could like DM them or whatever. And at the time, I'm like, God, starting at Twitter sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to bother them. It's fine. They saw it. They retweeted it, and it's like, cool. I'm good.
Well, speaking of wrestling tattoos, have you seen this guy's?
Which one? You mean the Undertaker? Or you mean the Macho Man? Or do you mean the Intercontinental Champion?
Holy shit! And you got the best version too. You got the best version. You got the Steamboat Savage version. Well done. Well done, man. That's sick as fuck. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere too. Like, I've seen it somewhere.
Chris Van Vliet's posted it a couple times.
Google or whatever, and you got the right version too with the red logo. Thank you. That's beautiful, man. Well done. I've got let's see, Roddy Piper.
Oh, Hot Rod.
I got that the day that he died. And then I have like a kind of stylized Owen Hart tattoo. I don't even know if you guys can see it. It's right there. It's like a rocket and sort of a broken heart kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then my Bret Hart tattoo is, this camera's all fucking weird. It's in there if you guys can't see it. Or
I see the glasses.
Yeah, it's like a skull, the glasses, and then a star from his boot.
Fuck. Go outside in the garage. I think we're best friends now.
We should just be like, we'd be hugging right now if we were in person.
Yeah,
but my FTR tattoo is down here. I don't know if I have any other wrestling tattoos. I honestly forget, but
I'm gonna get a Danhausen one here soon. Danhausen is like my obsession as of just like nonsensical wrestlers.
I have one of his little whatever those Pro Wrestling Tees exclusive things are that are like this tall.
Yeah.
It's Frankenhausen. It's like Danhausen is Frankenstein.
The micro brawlers.
Micro brawler, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I subscribe to their t-shirt thing.
This motherfucker pulled a freaking chase, an ultra chase of a what was it, the Santa Claus one?
Yeah, it was the black and white Santa Claus, and it was
Santa Claus Danhausen.
It was a 1 in 10, right? And some dude bought it from me, bro, for $750.
American?
Like
pesos? Holy shit!
Yen. Because
did you give Danhausen a cut? Holy hell, man!
I told him about it. He was like, "Damn, I don't blame you."
He's like, I'm not offended. I would have sold it too.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
So much Danhausen stuff. Like I bet I have 25 of his shirts. I've got tons of his toys. So I've got plenty of Danhausen shit. So I wasn't like, I need this holy grail item. And when the dude was like, I told the dude, I was like, some dude just offered me $600 for it. What do you say? He's like, I'll give you $750 right now via PayPal. And I was like,
okay,
all right.
Sold.
Yes. Like, I told my wife, and she was like, "God damn, you."
Well,
finally
and
like,
here's the thing too: the guy that bought it from you is trying to collect every single micro brawler. So
yes, so he needed that.
I might need to get a hold of them. I think I have like 7 of them or something. They're probably they're all from the Pro Wrestling Tee subscription though. I'm sure they're just like the Garden Variety ones.
I have all them. If you have chases though, he's always looking for chases.
Gotcha. No, my next wrestling tattoo is probably going to be Harley Race. I think that's the next one I want to get.
Nice.
I have this idea to get the Book of Wrestling by Harley Race, like a book that just says the Book of Wrestling with his picture on it, something like
Nice.
that. Yeah, that dude, he's legendary. I mean, after I didn't know anything about him for the most part, and then like probably in 05 when all the documentaries and stuff started, and you like you go back in time and learning about guys like Harley Race, and then you go back and watch his matches, and it's like, what a double tough, like just dude you'd never want to square up on ever. But then like if you, I will listen to every interview I can when someone's talking about Harley Race, and they're like, just a sweetheart of a guy, nicest guy. Don't want to drive with him ever. Sweetheart of a guy, nicest guy. Give you the shirt off his back.
Well, it's like me and Mike. This was a couple years ago now, but we just had a night of we were like, let's go back and watch some. Like you hear about all these old classic matches. We have Peacock. Every match is on there. Let's go back and watch some. So we went and watched like Brett versus Owen WrestleMania 10. Still fucking holds up today. You know what I mean? Amazing match.
Yeah.
And then another one we watched was Harley Race and Ric Flair at Starrcade. Was it 84?
83. Flair for the
83.
gold. In the steel cage, right?
In the steel cage, yes.
That was
One's with the
fan
crossbody.
Yeah.
One with a crossbody. And we're just like, you know, we're so used to seeing these big finishing moves and stuff. But like, you go watch that match, and it's just, that's fucking professional wrestling at its just core.
And then it's like back in the day, it's like it's a subtle art to where literally every second of the match is leading to the last 3 seconds.
Yep.
Dude.
And those dudes just figured it out. They're like, if you do everything right leading up to those last 3 seconds, like you can hit them with a suplex and pin them. You can hit them with the crossbody or whatever.
If you work his arm the whole match, you can freaking tap him out with an arm bar, you know, whatever.
Get him to quit with a hammerlock.
Something.
Armbar.
Hammer.
I mean, Terry Funk, his big move was like the step over toe hold. You know what I mean? Like, like he was doing that straight out of Amarillo for the longest time, you know. But he figured out early on, just tell a great story. I mean, that's what it really is about. And that's Terry Funk's another guy. I'm gonna have to get a Terry Funk tattoo at some point. The guy's too much respect for the guy. He's one of the all time greats.
Well, that's why I got the Mick Foley one, because that's my guy, like of all time. Like I grew up in the era of everybody was like, oh, I love Rock, I love Stone Cold, and I love both of them too. But Mick Foley that match is what got me into wrestling, and seeing him fly off the top of a cage into a table and then come back, I was like, that's my guy. Like I love this man. I will do anything.
Man.
And I got to meet him, what was that, 2 years ago now?
Yeah. Squared circle.
The picture, you can just I look like a 10-year-old kid that just met Santa Claus. Like I was so unbelievably happy that I got to meet him, and it's just, he's the best. I love you, Mick.
My I've never told this story in a public forum, but my meeting Brett story was like ultra embarrassing, but like still very cool, like as cool as I could have hoped for it to be. Because like, man, I had been waiting a long time to meet him, and like it finally happened at this signing, and like I had paid for like the VIP thing, and I got like extra time to just go and chill and talk to him. I cried, like I couldn't help it. I just like I started like blubbering, and I was like I told him, I was like, thank you for not making this weird for me. I was like, you were just like the biggest part of my childhood. And he was so cool. He's like, you know, he's like, hearing stuff like that is what makes it worth it. And I was like, man, that's awesome. I was like, Bret Hart would have had every reason to feel as weird about that as I probably did, but he was super cool and very nice about it. And he told me, he's like, it was really nice to meet you. I really appreciate it. On top of that, somehow I become friends with his daughter on Instagram back in the day when I had an Instagram, and because I post wrestling shit nonstop, and I think I had followed her on Instagram, and then I posted something about her dad. Oh, I posted a picture, I think it was like of the Heart Foundation Wrestling Demolition, and she commented, "Oh, I always liked it when my dad wrestled the Demolition." And I was just like, "Dude, Bret Hart's daughter just commented on my post." So,
Right.
you know, I just messaged her. I was like, "Hey, I'm like meeting your dad in a couple of weeks," and blah blah blah. She's like, "Oh, ask him about our family table hockey tournament or something like that." It was really funny, but she was really cool. And yeah, he had every reason to walk away from that interaction. Be like, put that guy on the banned list, please. But he was super nice about it and did not make it strange for me at all. And then I got in my car and like I really cried, like really hard. It was so overwhelming, man. It's just things that you think. I've been watching wrestling since I was 4 years old, so things that like I just never thought I would get to meet Bret Hart, and especially like when after he had retired and had a stroke and stuff, I was like, man, like. I'm like he'll be lucky to be able to get out of his house and stuff. It's from what I knew from strokes because my grandpa died from a stroke the year before. And but man, you know what? Props to him. He's made as good a recovery as you could hope. Obviously, he didn't get to reclaim his wrestling career, but as weird as people get about him and the Goldberg stuff, like I don't know. When I met him, he seemed super grateful when I met him.
Bill Goldberg.
Yeah,
it's Bill Goldberg for him.
Bill Goldberg. Yeah, that's true.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm no stranger to crying at really cool moments, man. I feel like it's good for you. I just had one. My wife and I took the kids to Blink 182.
Was it in Cincinnati?
Yeah, last Tuesday.
I was there.
Yeah, well, hell yeah.
My kid was there too.
when they played fucking Stay Together for the Kids, that for me, I had a lot of rough childhood. You know what I mean? And that was a song that kind of got me through it. I bawled for that, dude. And not to make we got upgraded from lawn to like 23rd row for free for no reason. And it was just like the coolest. You talk about an emotional moment, dude. I was crying my fucking eyes out, just listening to it and soaking it all in there with my kids. And like the long story fucking short, I met my wife at Riverbend at the Warped Tour in 2008. You know what I mean? So fell in love.
I was probably there too, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great show. I came for MC Chris. That's the only reason I went that year was I wanted to see MC Chris. But that was the first time I saw my wife. So like the rock show, the fucking all those songs, man. Blink 182 is one of the best concerts I ever saw. I thought it was great.
That show last week was so cathartic for me because I went with my best friend and his wife. And what's so funny is in 2001, we went to Riverbend, saw Blink 182, and Alkaline Trio opened. And that was when Alkaline Trio became like one of my favorite bands. After seeing them play, even though they played for like 20 minutes, I had just started listening to them before and then saw them play and I was just hooked. So that was like probably the 7th time or 8th time I think I've seen Alkaline Trio. It would have been the 5th time I've seen Blink. That was the best they'd ever sounded. Yeah. They were incredible. And my kid and I went for his birthday in 24. We went to the show in Columbus, and his mom took him this year. I wasn't going to go, and my friend just like surprised me with a ticket at the last second. And but yeah, my kid got to see Blink 2 years in a row. The first year with me, and then he got to go with his mom. He's so spoiled, but like, man, like with music, I'll go to the expense of like making sure he has exposure to as much good music as possible.
Yeah. If they wouldn't have made fucking WrestleMania in Vegas again this year, and then now next year in fucking Saudi, why the fuck Arabia, I would have taken my son. I went to WrestleMania 14 and then 35, 37, 38, 39, and 40. You know what I mean? And then Vegas priced me out last year, and then Vegas priced me out this year. And Saudi Arabia is definitely fucking pricing me out. I don't even want to Google how much it would cost me to fly over there.
$15, and I will save you a seat right behind me for Monster Bash. No questions asked. I'll put if it's not cushioned, I'll put a cushion on it and everything.
Look, I'm telling you, dude, once I gotta talk to make sure the wife doesn't have anything planned. Once I know for sure I'm free, I'm gonna bring the kids to that. That sounds like a fucking great show, especially considering I saw this graphic. And it lets me know that you're just going to book fucking awesome people there. You know.
What's funny is I know what he's doing at that show. He doesn't know what he's doing at that show.
Yes.
And I can't break anything here. Sorry, fellas. I can tell you though, we do have a rematch happening at Monster Bash from a match that took place actually back in March at our event called March Meltdown. It's going to be the Mad Dog, Dakota Wolf, taking on semi-professional wrestler Marion Fontaine.
Okay.
Two guys you may or may not be familiar with, two guys that both wrestle around here.
We know Dakota Wolf.
Yeah. He's kind of a dick, and he's kind of like built in the chambers mode where he does not care much for the audience and he does not care much for anybody else around him. But holy shit, is Dakota Wolf talented, man. He's really, really good, and he's a guy who, just like watching him come out to the ring each time, seeing him get a little bit better, seeing him figure out a little more, talking to him, like, even though he's, trying to drink out of a bowl and, have to chain him up in the bed. No, I'm just kidding. He's not really a dog, but he acts like one. And he's so
covered
in hair, dude. Covered in hair.
Why is he wearing a sweater to the ring?
When he wrestles, it always reminds me of that scene in Along Came Polly. If you guys have seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. They're like, that shit. And I'm just like, I wouldn't want to wrestle him. If you give him a belly-to-belly suplex, it's like gross, dude. It's a soaked chia pet. Like, no, thank you. So, but anyway, aside from his body hair, he's wildly talented, and we have a lot of guys that are at that kind of same level as Dakota, where it's just like he just got to be seen by the right person. We have another guy named Troy Parker, who's from West Virginia, calls himself the King of the Country Roads. He is big, he is fast, he is athletic. The dude can, every joint on his body that can like angle itself is a weapon. The guy is just lethal, and he's super talented. Our audience goes nuts for him. He's really acquitted himself well. He's only appeared at ArmBar, I think, 3 times, but crowd loves him. He's unbelievable. He's an incredibly talented young guy. Someone who every time I see him go out to the ring, he takes a step forward. He actually wrestled Damian Chambers at our show last Saturday. Came up short. There were shenanigans, but he came up short, and Damian did get his hand raised. But they had an unbelievable match. It was really great, and we've got a lineup coming in October that's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait until the entire card gets released. That's always for me is like the biggest thing is like as the card gets released and we put that information out. I'm just like, every time I see the rundown, I'm like, okay, they're going to love that match. They're going to love that match. They're going to love that match. It's just, our roster is deep and talented, and we do a good job of trying to get everybody involved. And the other, another big match that we're going to have is we've got these 2 guys. I don't know if you're familiar with the Silverback Chris Hall, Springfield's own. This dude, he's a walking bus. He's just an enormous human being. And we have this debuting nightmare of a wrestler named Draxon, who's managed by
our buddy Bobby,
the shrewdest dude in wrestling. But man, you cannot argue with the results with Bobby Olson. My God, hearing his voice is like thumbtacks in my eardrums. But at the same time, like, he always gets his guys in the best possible position. And normally if Bobby sets his mind on a goal, he's going to achieve it. And man, he brings this dude Draxon, who's like 6'6", 350 pounds. And we're going to have the Silverback Chris Hall, the Monster Draxon with Bobby Olson in his corner, and they are going to collide. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little nervous having to sit so close to the ring, because it's going to be they're going to be getting close to 700 pounds of humanity in the ring. And I don't know what's going to happen. Immovable force or irresistible force, immovable object kind of stuff. But these two it's like 2 pit bulls locked in cages just staring at each other. And as soon as those cage doors open, it's going to be insane.
We'll sit behind you. We'll be there for moral support. If they come close, I'm not stepping in, but I'll
be behind me, safely behind the guardrail, like hiding. I get it. That's what I would do too.
I will say one of the most animated.
Bobby, how are you?
One of our most
Bobby?
moments as DWO was seeing Bobby getting attacked by Matt Cardona one time. Bobby was managing Jake Christ at the time, and we're super big Bobby fans. And we know it's fucking storyline. We know things are supposed to happen, right? But when Matt Cardona drop kicked Bobby, it was like a fucking visceral response from us 3. We were like, "You motherfucker! You will not touch Bobby!" Like,
he's an asshole, but he's our asshole.
You will not. He dropped. I'm gonna tell you right now, Cardona drop kicked the fuck out of him.
Bobby, but that's Bobby though, man. He's down for the cause. He will eat shit if it is in the sake of a good story. I don't agree with his tactics. His voice is as grating as one could get, but man, I could never deny his results. Bobby is an incredibly talented manager.
Yeah,
we're just those two dudes, man. Chris Hall is a guy who I have grown to just love and think is the world of. He's an unbelievable dude, but an absolute monster in the ring and just huge, athletic, super strong. And then Draxon is huge. I think he's athletic, but really all we've seen him do is get in the ring and tear people limb from limb. I mean, that's really all we've seen him do so far. Everyone that he has, I'll say, wrestled or had a match with, it's just been a massacre. So this will be the first time that Draxon really gets tested. And I mean, it's a test. Chris Hall he's a veteran and he's not getting any smaller. So I'm really interested to see how that match plays out. It's going to be two big dudes. So far we have announced those two matches. We have plenty more coming up though. And I mean, we have a lineup and a roster that there's going to be no misses on this card. I will tell you all that I have heard told, I can't confirm, but I've heard told that the Dead Ringer will be in the house, that we will have Aaron Williams in the house October 25th.
Ooh.
But keep an eye on the socials. That'll be the key, because that dude's collecting belts. He makes every town. I've been watching Aaron Williams wrestle for such a long time. Hasn't missed a step, and in fact is probably better than he's ever been. And I mean,
he's a dream guest for us, man. We've been trying to get him on, but his social, there's certain social medias that aren't as reachable, I would say. I don't know. Either that or he just has zero interest, one or the other, which is cool if he doesn't, because I know podcasts aren't for everyone, but he's just one of them ones. We've had a lot of his contemporaries on. And for me, you talk about he's like the Bret Hart of our indies. You know what I mean?
That's I've said that before. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I remember at one of our show, and I think it was the one in March that he was there, and I was talking to I don't remember. It was one of the security guys at our show. It's dude with a ponytail. I don't remember his name. I should know his name, and I'm really sorry that I don't. But I said Aaron is he's kind of like the Bret Hart of this whole area. It's he's the dude that can have a good match with everybody.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
sure.
I have so much respect for him, and I miss the Baddest Man Alive days, but the Dead Ringer is an absolute show stealer too. So
he's
tickets,
awesome, bro. I literally have went to shows of events that I have no idea who's running it, anything at all. You know what I mean? And I like to be in the know, and I'll go to fucking random events I've never heard of if he's on it. You know what I mean? Just because he's great.
Calling his matches is so much fun for a wrestling fan like me, for someone who loves this as much as I do. Getting to call his matches, it's incredible. Actually, it was the first ever pay-per-view I had ever done commentary on. It was Dustin Reyes versus Aaron Williams. They had a dog collar match. And oh my god, it's number 7 on my list of all-time top 10 favorite matches. And I mean, it wasn't on pay-per-view. I mean, it was an iPay-per-view, but it wasn't it was an indie show. It was not like WWE, but dude, these two guys, it was unbelievable. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life. It was hard hitting, but there was so much story going into it, and they cut excellent promos on the way. And then it was just they pulled out all the stops. Flaming table, and I don't even really go for the deathmatch stuff. It's really just not my thing. But when applied correctly, when there are stakes and there's real emotion and you can feel it, whew, those dudes, they tore it up, and that's one of my favorite matches of all time. And Aaron, every time he shows up, it's just he can have a good match with anyone. You put him in the ring with a broom, and I think they're going to pull it off.
Him versus Chambers would be a great match. That'd be cool.
We've had it before. We're going to have it again, I'm sure.
Dude, speaking of dog collar matches, we were talking about matches we went back and watched. Is Valentine and Piper dog collar match. Dude.
Yeah, that was when Piper lost his hearing in one of his ears.
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of his ear the entire match. We heard somebody talking about it. We're like, we gotta watch it, and it was brutal.
That's one of those matches that is just. I mean, it really is. It really is infamous for the violence. You know what I mean? There was not a whole lot behind that. It was just man, these guys are gonna beat the shit out of each other.
It was so believable too, though.
Yeah,
yep.
That was the best part. Is it wasn't oh, I'm hitting his ear now. It was just,
We're
he'd
both
fucking
like,
hit him with a
"Ooh."
backhand or, just fucking smack him in the side of the head, whatever.
Mm.
And it just felt like these guys fucking hate each other. We're gonna beat the shit out of each other. It's all there is to it.
Why Valentine looks like that.
I love that visual of the dog collar match where like, and he tried to do it in all of them. Very few pull it off where the chain is like crisscrossing around the dude's face. They pulled that off so good. It looked so painful. It looked like it had a bear trap on his face. It was like, wow. Yeah, that's another one of those all-time great matches. I look at with Piper. I mean, I have his logo tattooed on me. He's one of my absolute favorite wrestlers. But like for me, I find myself going back and watching his segments just as much as his matches. My favorite Piper match of all time is no secret. It's WrestleMania 8 against Bret Hart, which is one of the greatest matches of all time. But like going back and watching interviews and like when they would bring people in from outside of wrestling and he just didn't give a shit and would go in and just fuck with them and poke the bear and he didn't care. He didn't care if you were Morton Downey Jr. or Cyndi Lauper or whoever. Piper was just like, let's go get that heat. Let's go scoop it up. Let's go make some money, and then I'm not going to take a pin. And that's it.
I drove 2.5 hours to meet him. And I remember on the way there thinking like, man, this is a long, long way to drive to meet one person. But I tell you this much, I am so fucking glad I did because his line was super long. It took forever, but you know why? Because he took fucking 5 to 10 minutes with every single person.
That's
and
awesome.
He gave a shit and he gave me some of the best advice and I've applied that advice and it's made my life better. And I'm glad I did it. I think it was worth every fucking mile. And I've noticed, by the way, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we are getting very close to the 1 hour mark. So at that point, when I realize we're that close, I want to make sure that we get our 2 scheduled questions in. So Mike and Eric generally ask those. Mike's going to ask you the first one, and then Eric will ask you the second. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, us dads are all very budget-minded individuals. And you yourself being a dad, I'm sure you'll do just fine. But we like to ask everybody, what do you keep your thermostat set to?
What is my it's at 73 right now.
Oh, you're a warm boy.
I run hot in my house, dude. Hey, energy costs aren't going down.
That's true.
You got a money tree growing in your backyard, sir?
No, dude. It's at 73 right now.
I cannot wait for next week.
I have a Nest, and I still don't. It's smarter than I am. Like I still don't really know how. Like you're supposed to be able to do all this cool stuff with it. The only thing I really know to do is like if I hear my air kick on, go check it to make sure that my setting of 73 didn't change. Like one of my kids might have fucked with it or something. Because if I come in and it's at 72, I'm gonna change it to 73.
Wow, you're a warm-blooded individual. You might be one of the highest. I mean,
you gotta save that.
Well,
money.
he's no Steve Kern.
No, Steve Kern, aka Skinner, what did 78, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude's a freaking reptile.
He's an alligator man. He's not worried about the heat.
Them Florida people have crazy fucking like normally it's between like 68 to 72 is generally what we get. And fucking when he said like you go back and watch that episode, we're like 78, like are you fucking high?
Skinner hates himself. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. To be fair, we had to edit that episode. That was a whole other story. That was he said quite a few things that were
off color.
Well, bro, he said some things that were wrong, dog. Like
he's an old man. We'll put it that way.
He's very, very.
Wait, there are degrees in this business of wrong. Are we talking Grizzly Smith wrong, or
we're talking like?
No, it was
just okay. 20 years ago, not okay today, kind of shit.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't meant maliciously.
Gotcha.
It was just
no, not at all.
Accents were used that probably shouldn't have been.
And he told about stories that he shouldn't have told, where he literally was incriminating himself and basically fucking hate crimes.
So it was like Marty Jannetty kind of stuff, just different context.
Oh God.
Our interactions with Marty Jannetty have been fantastic. This guy
really
had us just be like, dude, what the fuck? To be fair, only thing we've ever done with Marty was take a picture with him. He walked past and saw my belly, and he was like, I need to take a picture of that. And I was
Dude,
like,
I might need
"Damn."
to take a picture of your belly too, like of me just like staring at it in awe. That is incredible.
Bro, it's we're
What
gonna do
can I ask? Can I ask why the red logo I see though? Like what particularly about that version of it?
Macho Man.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's a
fair
Macho Man.
enough.
It's upside down, but that's a Macho Man tattoo.
Fair enough.
So I
That is the best version, and Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat is the best IC title match of all time.
I am just a big fan of the cake of the show. Like the start match and the end match are always the ones that people really love, especially when it comes to like a WrestleMania. But I also love the substance of the show. I love a U.S. title. I love a intercontinental title. I love a story about someone stealing someone's girl. You know what I mean? I love shit that's ancillary. So that's kind of a representation of that.
My thing with when it comes to like, I guess, what do you want to call them? Like the secondary singles titles, the US titles, your intercontinental titles, whatever you want to use to categorize them. Like, I don't understand why bigger wrestling companies don't put the kind of energy into those championships as they would put in the world title, because I still, to this day, can't understand why no one has looked at Rob Van Dam's ECW TV title run and not wanted to replicate that, because before he got hurt, every ECW fan that I knew of, that I ever talked to, we were all like, we need to find out, is the TV title better than the world title? We need like a title unification. Because I think at the time it was like, well, when RVD was the TV champion, it was like Taz was the world champion. Then I think it was Mike Awesome. And I think it was finally, I don't remember who it was after that. But there was like this point where everybody wanted to know like which reign means more, because RVD had beaten everybody. And he had a great series of matches with Jerry Lynn. The ECW TV title couldn't have meant more, but before they could capitalize on that, of course, RVD got hurt and had to relinquish the title and stuff.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, I don't understand why no one has, and I mean, the closest anyone really got was like, I guess Gunther's Intercontinental title run that he had, which was impressive, but still, there was never really like a heavy dose of story. It was always like, well, who's the next number one contender, or what do we do to find the next number one contender? And that's commonplace in wrestling. Oh, wow. Is that a 24/7 title?
That's what I wanted this to be. I wanted this to be like the TV title. I wanted this to be defended every single fucking time WWE was on, no matter what. I was hoping that's what the gimmick was 24/7 meant that every time there was a WWE show, whether it was NXT, whatever, you had to defend it. I thought that would be fucking great.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
That would have been way better than what they wound up doing, for sure.
Yeah.
I still thought that there were like highlights here or there with the 24/7 belt. I thought they did a couple of things that were clever.
Because R-Truth.
Yeah, R-Truth ran with that thing.
Yeah.
R-Truth is why I have this. That's legit. 100%.
Yeah. Totally. I totally agree with that. But yeah, I mean, I think nowadays there's this very strong reliance on the sport aspect that is associated with wrestling. And I don't understand why there's not more story woven throughout all levels of a wrestling card. But it seems like nowadays everyone is kind of content to just become the next number one contender and not really draw like a personal line in the sand between two characters and make their like, oh, what's the conflict? Well, they're going to fight over this belt. Okay, but anything else? And then it's like, what can you do above and beyond a championship match?
That's what I loved about Hangman and Swerve. Mm-hmm. It felt personal.
Yeah.
And I've made this comparison, but it felt like Rock Austin. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, no, I fucking hate this guy. This guy's done this to me. This guy, back then he was, throwing his belt in the river and shit like that. All right, well, Hangman burnt Swerve's house down. It's
bar raised.
You got to do something bigger than throwing his belt in the river. All right, we'll burn your childhood home down. Whatever.
And Matt Hardy fucking killed Jeff Hardy's dog. You know what I mean? So that bar has been destroyed.
Boss Man did it first, and then he fed it to Al Snow. So
yeah, to be fair, Boss Man fed it to Snow.
Damn.
So. Yeah.
Eric, hit him with that second question, bro.
Just something we like to ask everybody, and it doesn't have to be anything particularly deep or anything like that, but just what's something that you're thankful for today?
Something that any moment of any day, the health and safety of my kids. That's the most important thing in the world to me. That means more to me than wrestling. It means more to me than anything. My kids, I mean, I am like so my oldest son is 13. His name's Henry. He's the coolest kid that ever lived. And he just started riding his bike to school. And it was more traumatic for me than
Oh
anybody.
man.
Because I'm just like, his first day, he's like, I can do it. It's all good. Don't worry about me. And like, I'm that dude just like sitting on my phone watching his location as he's just like pedaling his ass off, going to school. But man, like, every time I've ever been worried about anything with either of my kids, they both take everything in stride, and it's always I'm more concerned about their milestones than they are. For them, it's no big deal. They're just achieving stuff, and I'm cool with that. But man, yeah, for what I'm thankful for, anytime that I can wake up and I get to call myself their dad, I'm good. Everything else is bonus on top of that.
Yeah.
I have, and I will say also, you know, on a personal level, I have the absolute coolest fiance who I'm in love with. She's beautiful too. Hi, Amy. If you're watching, I love you.
Well, Jarrod, you just what do you call it, ingratiated yourself to the dads. You know, anybody that's a father and shows that much love for their kids, you are a kindred spirit in our books, which is pretty cool. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
know exactly which date it is, whether it's Monster Bash or it's something else. We're definitely going to make it out as the dads to a show. We're going to show up. It looks like you guys got something really good brewing, man. Where can people find you if they're just hearing about you from our show?
Well, we're on all of the socials. Just ArmBar Pro Wrestling on your Facebook and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. I've just taken over within the last couple of weeks, or just not taken over, but I'm now taking part in doing a lot of the social media stuff. So a lot of the posts that have been coming up lately have been my creation. So I'm slowly figuring that out. These like Andre the Giant sausage fingers don't do well on the phone, but I'm we're figuring it out as we go along. But they make it really easy. We have a great production team that takes care of all the graphics and stuff, and then you can get tickets to all of our events at www.armbarproevents.com. But yeah, we try to update our social media daily, so make sure you're keeping an eye on all that stuff. And there he is, man, the golden goose.
Yeah, buddy. We tried. We weren't able to contact him. We tried to see if he would come and jump in and talk a little bit. I guess he was busy, but it is what it is,
He's a good man. I mean, Damien's the future for that dude is so bright. It's unbelievable, but he knows it. He's aware, and that's, hey, you know what? People will say,
it, man.
He totally does. He absolutely does. And people will say a lot of things about ego or this or that, but it's like, man, in the wrestling business, it's not a team sport. It's not a team sport. That dude's fighting for a spot just like everybody else. So I respect the hell out of that. I don't know that I agree with all of his tactics, but the results speak for themselves. Damien Chambers is a star.
At this point, I consider him attraction level. Like, you can literally put him, if anyone that has heard of him sees him on a show, you could put him in any slot. He could challenge your fucking main baby face. He could tear apart your middle of your roster. You could put him in a scramble. You could put him in a tag team. But either way, he's going to shine, and that's what makes him an attraction. I think that's why he's so good.
That's one of those things you can't stop talent. Even if you don't like somebody or whatever it is, talent wins everything. Talent will win out over anything else in this business. And that, like I said, I don't agree with all of his tactics, but the dude has talent coming out of his ears, and we're lucky that he's part of our roster. I know that he has caused a lot of gray hairs for a lot of the senior management, and they are still trying to figure out exactly how to appropriately, deal with him and keep him around and keep the thing about Damien that he's done so well. He's made himself completely invaluable to the fact that like our audience really wants to see him get knocked around a little bit, which, congrats to him on that, because that makes him a wanted man in our company. And that's what you want. But it doesn't always make it easy to work with. And man, he sends a lot of people home pissed, but everybody that comes across Damien Chambers, whether it's like you guys that are like, hey, I really like this dude and I get a kick out of him, or it's the complete opposite where people just think he's the worst. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody reacts, and that's the most important thing.
Those people that think he's the worst just can't wait to see him get his ass kicked. So
and it's like that old adage. It's like, why did people used to listen to like shock radio? It's like, well, I don't like him, but I want to know what they're going to say next. With Damian Chambers, it's like, I don't like him, but I'll buy a ticket because I want to watch him get smashed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great
Well,
stuff.
Mike,
time.
Eric, you guys got anything else before we wrap this thing up?
No, I'm good, man. I can't wait. Hopefully, we can get up there on the 25th. And if we can't, we will definitely be up there at some point in the future. And definitely going to be, we got to still figure out how to do a live podcast. So that'll be, kind of a train wreck in the making. But, we're going to do our best.
I will say for me,
I love the idea of it.
dude, for me, the concept is awesome. And like, as I've sort of ingrained myself more into the creative direction of what we're doing, and as we get deeper into that, I'm always trying to think about outside the box ways that we can cross promote. So a live podcast during a show or during portions of a show or something leading up to a show, anything like that. I think that would be killer.
I think it would work great though, because like we're constantly during like shows, we're constantly talking in between the three of us. Our reactions are very elaborate, shall we say. So there's a lot of high energy there. So I think it's possibly some gold in the making there.
Maybe
Something
we
to
have
think
a
about.
couple backstage interviews after matches or something.
That's what I'm saying. You guys can have your podcast and be pulling some wrestlers that want to come in and talk to you guys, and it could be a whole big
Maybe
fun
during
time
a
for
match.
everybody. You gotta have them come out like, well, it's going good so far. Hang on.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
Well, hell yeah, man. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on many more times in the future.
Anytime.
Cannot
Yeah,
wait
thank
to
you
get up
guys.
there. Cannot wait to get up
Absolutely.
there.
Got a
Appreciate you guys so much.
hell of a next
Absolutely.
week coming up for anybody who's listening. We got on Tuesday, we got the one and only Lord Crew. And then on Thursday, we have a multiple-time world record holder, the guy who actually inspired me to wear my wrestling shirts, Mr. Muck Sticky. So we got Muck Sticky and Lord Crew next week. It's gonna be a hell of a week. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a week for the Dad World Order next week. So
Oh yeah.
really looking forward to that. So make sure if you guys are just tuning in, you're fans of ArmBar and you're just learning about us, make sure you subscribe, and make sure if you're just learning about ArmBar to subscribe to them as well. It's
Absolutely.
important.
Well, as always, we've been the DWO podcast. I am Big Rick Eric Manfey. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas, and he is the one, the only Jarrod Rowe of ArmBar Pro Wrestling. You can check us out on all the socials at DWO_podcast, Facebook at the DWO podcast, TikTok at DWO_pod. Get that dad merch at Pro Wrestling Tees, T Public, or message us directly. Look at that. We got shirts. We got freaking hats. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
There's my name right there.
And there's his name right there. Jarrod Rowe.
Right there. Right?
Like, subscribe, listen, follow, all that good stuff. And until next time, Top Dads, out.